Definitely on my way out here to set up this shot, I absolutely walked through a spider web and I feel so bad. But there's another spider here. I hate walking through spider webs. They work so hard. And then I come along, a giant clumsy oaf, and mess it all up. We're outside. And since we're outside, we're going to have to deal with some sounds. Like traffic. So I will wait. Can you also tell that I'm really channeling fall? It's a very humid 72 today in Seattle, but it's overcast and I can almost trick myself into thinking that it's fall if it wasn't going to be sunny and 80 for the rest of this week. So I wanted to take advantage of this moment and pretend that maybe it'll be autumn soon as I dress in my denim and browns and earth tones. Anyway, hey, hi, welcome to the sketchbook tour that I promised you last week or 2 weeks ago, but that I was late on delivering because so many forces were at play that were preventing me from getting this done. I swear to the gods, there was some sort of divine cosmic force that was like, no, 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 you're not going to record this sketchbook tour, darling. Not today. I'm going to make it so that not only am I going to mess up your footage on your first take, but on your second take, I'm going to mess up your audio and your mic is going to die 1 minute in and you're not going to notice. So you're going to have to re-record the whole thing again, which I had to do. So I had to record the sketchbook tour 3 times, but hey, 3rd time's the charm. It's the video game rule of 3s. You know, I know. I hope that you like it. It's a fine sketchbook. It's not one of my, I wouldn't say it's like one of my greatest. It's also not one of my worst. I think that sketchbooks not only, wow, there's a big, beautiful spider hanging out in her web right here in my line of sight. Great work, Michael. Sketchbooks not only act as a very valuable place for exploration and learning and play and experimentation, I also think that they act as extremely valuable journals, chronicles of that particular period in your life. And so obviously this sketchbook for me spans 2 years. It notoriously takes me a very long time to finish sketchbooks. It's just how I work. I think it's because so much of my work is split between doing stuff traditionally and digitally. So I just don't spend, there are times where I just go months without spending time in my sketchbook because I'm drawing digitally. But I think that this sketchbook chronicles a rather turbulent time in my creative life. And I think that sketchbooks are also a very valuable chronicle of the time that you spend filling them, which is why my sketchbooks, I make a lot of little anecdotes and a lot of little notes because I think that they can also double as a journal of sorts. It's not quite like Rebecca Green does it. Rebecca Green does a lot of visual journaling, which I think is so rad. I don't have the wherewithal for that kind of stuff. I probably could. It's just a matter of me restructuring my time and priorities. That is a conversation for a different video. You're here to watch a sketchbook tour, and you will see it in just a moment, because first I need to thank the sponsor of this video, Skillshare. Thank you so much, Skillshare, for supporting this channel. Skillshare is an online learning platform filled with thousands of classes taught by a myriad of creative professionals across pretty much any industry that you could ever want to learn from. I am talking video editing, photography, quilting, sewing, knitting, Google Calendar management for creatives, discovering your creative identity, hand lettering. If there is some sort of creative professional thing you are seeking to learn, whether it be in a realm of productivity, time management, lifestyle, or in the pursuit of an actual craft of some kind, Skillshare has a class on it. So since this is a video about sketchbooking, and I know that last time I talked about a sketchbook class led by Mike Lowry, I wanted to hit on a different sketchbook class for this video, and that is the class, The Sketchbook Fillers Club, 4 Powerful Guidelines for Stunning Spreads by Dylan Mierzwinski. Because you'll see in this sketchbook, it's definitely a little bit more, it's very sort of haphazard, it's very scribbly. I didn't really approach any of my sketchbook spreads with intention as I found myself doing in the past. I feel like I used to come at my sketchbook just a little more mindfully, I suppose. But I think that the way Dylan approaches sketchbook spreads is very mindful and very explorative. And again, I talk in this video about approaching from a place of curiosity versus fear. And I think that Dylan's class is a great example of doing just that. One of her little guide steps that she uses is called Finding Your Doorway. which is about sort of the easiest way for you to enter into a sketchbook spread, enter into a sketchbook flow. Just kind of like the most approachable way for you to enter that place, which I think is really cool, and I think a unique way of framing the way of overcoming the fear of the blank page. I think that's really cool, and I'm excited to keep taking this class, and I'm excited to learn more from Dylan. If you also want to level up your creative pursuits, learn new things, join me on a sketchbook journey of whatever variety, you're in the right place, because the first 500 people to click the link in my description or scan the QR code on screen will get 1 free month of Skillshare. So go forth and learn with me, or come along and learn with me. Regardless, thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. I'm going to send it over now to Sketchbook Tour Cheyenne, and I hope you have a great time. I will see you here after the fact, and yeah, enjoy. My gods, all right. Okay, all right, my gods, all right. Filming outside is so oddly vulnerable. Hello, sketchbook tour time. I will have the deets for this sketchbook in the description. It's a Nina Cosford sketchbook. Nina Cosford ever so kindly sent this to me, and I loved using it, so I ordered a second one that I have waiting for me in my backpack. For a quick little sticker tour, we have Arcasian, Paloma Peach, me, Megan Wang, Lee Alexson, G Soupy, Radia Raman, and I believe this is Erin Kubo. Very cute little sticker collection. This sketchbook, as you will see here, took me from July 10th, 2023 to July 25th, 2025. 2 years and some change. I'm so slow at sketchbooking, and I sure would like to be faster. We'll see what happens. All right? We'll see what happens. Let's just get into it. Starting off on the first page, I actually started off with a little swatch, because this is what Sophie McPike does in her sketchbook. Every time she starts a new sketchbook, she does a little swatch page of the art supplies that she has on hand. And when I started this sketchbook, I was in Sweden, so I sketched whatever colored pencils I had with me, which was a fun little collection. But it was nice because it kind of gets rid of the mystery of like, what the heck do I put on my first page of my sketchbook? This is also more Sophie McPike stuff. This is one of her scribble brigades where we did some master studies. This was the first one. This was like a 1-minute study. This was really hard. And it looks really bad. It helped because this one led into this one, and then we started doing 5-minute ones. And I loved the way the 5-minute ones turned out. Sophie's scribble brigades are so fun. I cannot recommend them enough. And then I'm just using my trusty Pilot G2.38 gel pen, which is like one of my beloved pens. Also, I have a hard time believing that this is pepper, because this gives off way more Sophie vibes, but apparently it was pepper. I know there is good in the world because I am good. Shape. You'll see a lot of notes about like shape and silliness and stuff in this sketchbook, as I often write, and also some like figure studies, which I quite like. I think they're quite cute. I feel like this sketchbook, I don't think there are any like huge breakthroughs necessarily. I think of this sketchbook more as a documentation of like kind of a rough year with my artwork, a documentation of like a rough while, like a rough time that I had in my relationship to my work, which I still think is very valuable to have that documented and cataloged. I was like drawing at a cafe, referencing stuff off Pinterest, which is one of my favorite things to do. And I will oftentimes just like write random little notes in my sketchbook. So it kind of almost shows up like a journal. A little family portrait that I'm still very fond of. And I ended up using this on my thank you cards for my shop update later that year. Pepper isn't quite so slinky anymore. Pepper is definitely distinctly more round. And I also wish that I had drawn Sophie a little scrunglier, but I think it still captured my angels, my sweeties. More scribbling I designed myself a new PNG tuber that I really liked. And then this is me trying to work on just some emotes and stuff. This is still when I was streaming somewhat regularly on Twitch. This was towards the end of my Twitch time though, but this was during my pink hair era, which was very strong. This is my Stinky Wizard, which is like to this day one of my favorite sticker designs I've ever made. I was also trying to like plan some product and like packaging design. Also, this was a drawing. This was like a little comic idea that I had that I wanted to bring to fruition forever. And I've just never done it, but it was like every time I feed my cats a churro treat, I feel like I'm communing with a divine being, which is very true. You'll also see in this, I have a lot of like thumbnail ideas and a lot of, yeah, like a lot of thumbnail ideas and a lot of painting ideas that I just never bring to fruition because unfortunately, oftentimes in my creative work, I am ruled by fear, which is something that I'm actively working through in therapy right now. Yeah, I was like trying to think of maybe like a new icon or like new mascot type stuff. Also thinking of icons for like Patreon. I miss doing little icon packs. I was also thinking of like redraws of different things as well. Sophie does look haunted here, but she's still so cute. My little baby. My little baby girl. Kokomi. Also, I love this little drawing too. I would love to turn this into something. Like I have a lot of cute little like tiny sketches that I just never grew into anything. I think this was a collection of like Instagram sketch requests that I was taking. This is a redraw of one of my first ever paintings that I turned into a print back when I first opened my Etsy shop, and I was thinking about tackling it again, and I really love the way this sketch turned out. Also, I was trying to draw you from Persona 4. Drawing people from behind is so hard. Also, this was a list of prompts that Heikala and I came up with for when I did my drawing date with her. My God, that was so fun. It was also cool to see that like when she approaches sketching, she thinks of prompts and then draws said prompts as opposed to just drawing mindlessly, which is what I do. So, yeah, that was also, I still can't believe that I got contacted to do that. That kind of blew my mind. I couldn't believe that they asked me to talk to her about her new like exhibit opening at that time. More packaging design, terrifying little drawings as well that I actively comment on as I draw them. More scribbles. This was actually a face that I drew that actually scared me. That's like actually frightening. So I was like, I have to cover this up or else I'm gonna have a bad time. But I like drawing creepy things sometimes. It's fun. More scribbles. You know me, I love my ink. I'll also sometimes like, I usually almost always put the date as well as like where I am if I'm like outside my house or if like I'm at a cafe or something. I was trying to think of like stream starting screens, and I referenced Megan's because Megan streamed on Twitch for a little bit. And I was like, this is way too much like hers because this is basically hers because she had a really cute cat at a computer. In my sketchbook, I will often like reference other artists or try to do like style studies of other artists that I really like. And I'll usually denote their handle or name next to said reference so that way I know whose style I am trying to emulate. For me, it's like the sketchbook is the place that I can do that. It's my like safe space to experiment with that kind of stuff. This was a little drawing of a kitchen mouse meal that I sketch a little bit more later. This is a sticker I would love to turn into something. Also love this little guy. I want to know more about him. He's very cute. This is definitely a very like messy sketchbook. Like it's not a very finessed sketchbook. This was me ripping off Natalie Anderson because her creature design is just magnificent. I was also thinking about redrawing my yarn department. This is more kitchen mouse meal inspo. This was when I first got into my BG3 wormhole. More like graphic design, sketching and stuff. Shop, update planning. This is what I ended up using on all of my socials and like on my website as far as like graphics go. Trying to draw a fair little Delilah, my ice sorceress from Baldur's Gate 3, whom I love. Trying to figure out how to draw Astarion, referencing other artists because I like the way that they draw him. I had some cute fits a couple falls ago. Oh, I redrew my mushrooms that I drew back in like, I don't know, 2021 or something. Those were so popular. So many people got those tattooed, which is still fascinating to me. I also wrote that the ghost of Cooney is here because this is Radia's wiggly baby cat Cooney. And so I was like, he's come to visit me. I was also scribbling out like some mug ideas and stuff. My baby girls. I was trying to think of like thank you card ideas, like a little family portrait moment. Oh, my Sophie girl, my baby. I was also trying to think of I wanted to do a Sebastian portrait mod for Stardew Valley. Something I've wanted to do for forever because I love the way that people draw him. Notes from friends, notes from Radia, and I think this is Megan from Shop Orders because I like ordering stuff from my friends and supporting their work. I love the energy on this one. Sometimes I draw things where I'm like, ooh, that's good. More scribblies. trying to figure stuff out. Just scribbling. Mostly just trying to do a lot of scribbling. Oh, I was talking to Laysa at Waylisa Art because I was like, I love the way you draw bodies, which is what this is just referenced from a sketch of hers. And I was like, I love how you draw bodies. How do you do that? She's like, well, I usually start with the waist. And I was like, how in the hell do you start with the waist? So I tried to do that. I think this was also one of the first times I tried to draw Aries. He and I had been dating for like 6 months at this point. Yeah, just about 6 months. Little Makoto from Persona 5, more scribblies. I like this one too. Yeah, I was using pencil for a little while, and I've gotten back into pencils. Scribble, scribble. I also, like I said, I always make notes. Legs could be closer together, but I didn't want to erase it. I couldn't be bothered. Oh, we have an Omori cameo. Well, Sunny, technically, but my love. Trying to like draw the same reference from Pinterest over and over again. I was like, I don't know why this pose is so difficult for me. I also drew my cleric, Chad Wickerton, but this was like based off the face cast that I had for him. And I gave him freckles, and I was like, no, actually, I don't think he has freckles. I left a lot of pages quite blank in this sketchbook, which I have definitely not done in past ones, but I think I was maybe like trying to loosen up on imaginary rules I had set for myself. Again, this was me thinking about that little Churu comic I wanted to make of the girls. Chickens are so silly. I like this drawing of Sophie. She was so scrungly. My scrungle baby. Oh, I was watching a lot of Mabim Bam animatics at this time because they always cheered me up. So this is we've now entered into 2024. Well, technically that was back there, but we're in 2024 now. This is referenced from this artist. I can't remember their name off the top of my head, but their Mabim Bam animatics are just brilliant. I was sketching out ideas for what to do for my gallery nucleus mushroom from last year. I had a little Discord date with Megan. I was trying to figure out how to draw me and Pepper cuddling. I got really into like quilting patterns at this point, like quilt motifs, as you can see here. This is from my art block video that I did January, February of 2024. And I was like, been watching my old videos and old sketches, and I am once again, I always feel like my best days are behind me, LMAO. I was really going through it. I've been feeling like that for a long time. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that I'm kind of out of this really despairing era of like art block and art crises. But so even though maybe I didn't have any like huge breakthroughs or like big like complicated spreads in this sketchbook, I still think that it is a very valuable documentation of this like rough period that I went through in my creative life. Also, I love me drawing Minato already. My beloved. Was this around the time that I was playing Reload? It can't have been. Maybe it was. When did Reload come out? I don't know. Oh, and this was from my ambient drawing video, which was a total flop of a video, but that's okay. I like drew the same face over again a bunch of times. I think it was because I was conscious of the fact that I was drawing for the express purpose of a video. I became super self-conscious about it. But I think this was around the time where I came up with my little narrator mascot, whom I do love dearly. And I was referencing Ryoko Kyui, who is the mangaka for Dungeon Meshi. She's just unreal. Her character design is incredible. I love the way she draws profiles. Love the way she draws profiles. She has a collection of stuff called Daydream Hour, which is like polished collections of like sketches and like practices that she's done. It's so good. And then I drew my Minato Arisato, my darling boy. Oh, I found an incredible cat on Instagram. That I had to draw. Oh yeah, I was also thinking about my little clay guys that I was making for my gallery nucleus mushroom. And I was thinking about sticker sheets. I was like thinking about different product design because I think this was around the time where I was like trying to think of maybe getting back into doing products. And this was last spring. This is when I got my Lamy Safari. My illustrious Lamy Safari, which just like, when I got that pen for the first time, I was just like, this is incredible. I just felt so like free and open and squiggly. I turned this into a piece, which like when I drew it, I liked it. And then as soon as I finished it, I was like, I don't know. But I feel like that's how art goes. Is like you draw stuff for a while that you're really into, and then you finish it and you immediately see all the ways in which you can make it better. It's tough out here. Really want to do more OOTD stuff. I got to paint my mushroom. I was also thinking about redrawing myself as a Hateno villager as well. Yeah, I wanted to do this, and I wanted to make sure I was holding a cuckoo. I really like this sketch, actually. Just scribbling away. Profile faces are easier. The bodies leave a lot to be desired. Yeah, I don't know why the ink was really fading here, but then it seemed to come back. I'm not sure what happened there. I was also toying with the idea of like redoing my little strawberry house piece because I love that piece, but I'm like, maybe I would approach the composition differently now. And then this, I tried to draw Minato with his evoker not good. And so I wrote, this is not a gun. This was when I left to go to Ohio to visit Lee and Jamie and Bird. And I wrote to myself, like, comparison is the thief of joy, because it is. And this was when I was sat at Proudhound Coffee House with the three of them. And I so distinctly remember, like, just being eaten alive by my imposter syndrome, because I was watching these three artists that I really admire and look up to and have looked up to for years. And I was watching them work in their sketchbooks. And then I was looking at my sketchbook and I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? I was like, why am I here? Why am I on this trip? I was like, I feel like such an outlier. And unfortunately, that kind of mentality really kind of ate me alive during that trip, and I wish it hadn't. I did like this little drawing that I tried to do of Jamie as they were working on their sketchbook when we were in Lee's studio, and Lee made a couple guest appearances in here, and like, this is fine. I remember how self-conscious I was throughout this whole trip. I just felt a very keen sense of like, I don't think I should be here. And I think that voice was wrong, but by God was it loud. And then this was the last page I did while I was there. And this page I was happy with. I feel like I finally fell into a rhythm and I got out of my head a little bit. And I was just like, we're gonna experiment a little bit, but also I'm making something that feels like me. And then I got back, I picked up the keys to my studio. I realized I never made a move-in vlog for my new studio that I moved into last year. I did record for it. Like, I recorded stuff for it. I just never edited it. Here I was making notes about like my Patreon podcast. The trip was extremely fulfilling. Like, I left it feeling so inspired and fulfilled and like filled with like new drive. But I was also haunted by this feeling of just like, man, I am not only comparing myself to my own past work, I'm constantly comparing myself to my peers. And I really gotta quit that. More notes and more some video ideas. Like Cincinnati vlog, draw and chat. I have also had the idea of drawing like a little mug museum. I just don't know how I want to bring it to fruition. That's also another thing where it's like, when I look at my thumbnails that I just kind of never realized, it's because I think that I lose sight of the whole like problem solving aspect of art making, which is a huge part of art making. Like, a huge part of art making is to like try and solve problems. Like, you're solving different ways to go about coloring or composing something. And I think that I so often work from a place of fear. And I think something that I'm really trying to do is like shifting to always trying to operate from a place of curiosity, because that's when like I end up making my favorite stuff. More trying to figure out my strawberry thing. I love this sticker. This is still one of my favorite stickers I made. I give this to all of my theater friends and they get a huge kick out of it. I was trying to figure out my little cat mascot feelings that I was gonna do for this painting I was thinking of. This spread is cute. I'm still so happy with my Hwenholm redraw that I did last summer. It's still one of my favorite pieces. Oh, this was a thumbnail that I really liked. Aries and I had gone on this incredible hike, and I was like, and I had taken a bunch of photos of little creeks with leaves and ferns overgrowing them, and I was like, I'd love to do some guys like handing fruit over a river or something cute like that. I think it could be darling. Yeah, lots of thumbnails and things. I'm not made for summer. I'm really not. Summer's my least favorite season. I think I get seasonal depression in the summer. It's just so hot, and as far as sensory stuff goes, I just get so miserable when it's warm out. I was thinking about my GURPS character, Ryla, who is so fucking sick, but I've been having a lot of trouble figuring out her clothes. I was trying to think of a gym leader Sona, because I was like, well, I want her to be bubbly, but I don't know what her gimmick would be, and I'm like, would it be psychic, flying, electric? Because Swablu is my favorite Pokemon. But I think I would be an electric gym type leader. And I kind of came up with this one and I was like, this isn't nearly goofy enough for a Pokemon gym leader, but it's still like kind of cute. Drawing some OTD things. Spénale from Pinterest. You see, I kind of write the name of the artist next to their thingamabobs. If I'm referencing like a creator, this is Stephanie on TikTok. What's her name on Instagram now? I think it's like Figs with like 2 S's or something. She has this incredible like whimsigoth style that I'm so enamored with. I love the way she dresses. I love this drawing too. I'm a really big fan of this. Got myself an oat milk iced lavender matcha. Every time I order myself a lavender matcha, iced or hot, I'm just like, I can just feel the barista just looking at me and being like, I know what you are. And I'm like, We all know, okay? We're all on the same page here. This was when I went to Oklahoma for my bestie Ferris's 30th birthday. And we were sat at a cafe for breakfast. And I was passing my sketchbook around. And I think this was their partner, Pat. And then I think this was Ferris drawing little portraits of all of us sat at the table. This is them in their flower crown. This is their partner, Pat. This is me with my heart sunglasses. This is Will Bowes. And this is Audley with his super crazy long hair. More icons. Again, I was admiring how Megan draws cats. Can you tell I really like Megan Wang's work? I love Megan Wang's artwork. I think it is so special and incredible. I'm just always enamored by it. Oh, I like this little one. I love the Gaia Online wings. Every time I see wings like this, I always think of Gaia Online. Fishies and cats and stuff. Eepy Sophie girl. My baby. I need to do more like studies of photos of her and stuff. Oh yeah, Matt Johns. This is when I was thinking about my keycap set. I was also thumbnailing for a painting that I wanted to make of Soph in my, of her on the bed with like all of these roses like bursting out of the window. Yeah, I've been thinking about that for ages. I think this was all supposed to be her. My baby girl, my angel. Oh, this is when I discovered Burke Bushka's work, whom is phenomenal. Love their stuff. I love the way that they handle. I just love their style. They again have that they hit that really sweet spot that I like of very intricate, cool line art with really fun textured coloring styles. I love artists that walk that balance, which is something that I'm always trying to do. Who am I? What do I want? Take it easy, bro. Oh, this is when I got into my ooh-woo seraphim phase. Oh yeah, I was thinking of just a fun painting that I wanted to do on a wood panel that I have at my studio. Thank you card ideas. I actually do need to make some thank you cards. I was thinking of putting the girls in the clouds as well. Eepy cat. This is still one of my favorite stickers I've done. Yeah, because last fall I had a one-of-a-kind shop update where I sold my ceramics for the first time. And so I was trying to plan for that. This was for my drawing my outfits for the week video that I did last fall. Cute spreads. It looks weird because I forgot to draw a butt crack. So butts are weird and strange, but still cute. I still like it. I think it's darling. Oh, Kaidahara Kazuha, my beloved. I don't play Genshin anymore. I've just had to let go of my gacha games. I've had to just finally release myself from their vice grip, but my God, I miss him. I love you, sweetie. No one will ever replace you in my heart. Okay, so my torso isn't this long. I do have a long torso. It's not this long. I do like this. I like the energy of this though. And this one too. Love the flow here. Yes, yeah, make little notes for things. I think I was trying, this was when I was deciding that I was getting rid of my art mail tier on Patreon. And so I was like, okay, I have to start thinking about product design and what kind of stuff I want to make. That was tricky because I was like, how does one design products? Who knows? Not me. I like this lettering. This lettering is cute. I also love this one. So excited for the cold because I'm always excited for the cold. Gaia Online wings. See, a little further in November, me and Pepper cuddling as we always do. She still sleeps with me every morning. Usually shortly after I wake up, she'll come in and nose under the blankets, and then she'll fall asleep on my shoulder while I do Wordle. That's our current morning routine. And this was when I took Soph to the vet, my baby. I think earlier I had done a little drawing of her, and I think it was in March. Yeah. Here, March, dropped Soph off at the vet. This is when she got diagnosed with hyperthyroidism. My baby. My sweetie girl took Soph to the vet and they stole her blood consensually. They were doing a checkup on her thyroid levels, and her thyroid levels looked good at that time, which was good. This was also around the time that I found out that her heart murmur was getting a little bit worse. But she had gotten an echocardiogram a month or two before that, and the echocardiogram had said that she was fine. Oh, my baby. Oh, and this was when Pat and Ferris came to visit me, and Pat drew their cat, Boop, which was also so cute. Scrungle baby. She's so cute, it causes me physical pain. It really does. It still does. Ugh. At the pottery studio, I had another little Discord day with Megan. This was when I discovered Kelly Pringle's art, whom I'm just so enamored by. Love her stuff. Thinking about different product designs and stuff. This is a drawing that I actually have the line art finished on my iPad, and the line art is great, but I couldn't figure out for the life of me how I wanted to color it and how I wanted to render it. And so it's just kind of sitting abandoned, which is a damn shame because I think this would be such a cute piece. So I need to force myself to finish it, I think. Would love to do something with me and the girls sleeping. Still true, because Pepper would sleep on my shoulder and then Sophie would sleep curled around the top of my head because she would sleep on the pillow above my head. And I would usually wake up like that. Get silly with it. More scribblings. My brain feels busted. True. Oh yeah, I revamped my little narrator guy and I gave him more expressive eyes, which was more fun for me to play with, I found. I think I was thinking of new tier ideas for my... Oh, I was brainstorming new tier drawings for my Patreon. This is in January when I was dealing with when I was going through my like how do I draw bodies thing. This was also when I was really talking to my therapist about my struggles with my creative work, where I was just like, I don't know why like doing what I do no longer fulfills me in the same way. And she was like, maybe you don't think the joy is worth it. And I was like, oh no. So it was this idea of just like, I think because when you make your creative pursuit your living, it can make doing something for fun no longer feel valuable because you're constantly thinking about how you can make what you do profitable. It's the poison of capitalism, man. This was when I started really thinking about like trying to just rediscover like why I make stuff in any capacity. Warm-ups are important. Yes, they are. This was another thumbnail for a painting idea that I had of Soph. I fleshed this out on my iPad, but it was just another photo of her lying on my pillow. I was also brainstorming for my mushrooms that I did this year for Gallery Nucleus, which I never posted anywhere. And I wanted to make one like a seraphim based, and then the other one was going to be like a wizard tower. And I was going to do like this whole like add-on piece for it. But this was January 28th. So this was a month to the day. This was a month to the day before Sophie died. So my plans changed. Hello, this is how I would write. Oh yeah, I think maybe I was doing a Patreon stream. I was demonstrating how I used to write in middle school. I wrote like this. I wrote so slowly. Not bad, not bad. I was revisiting my abundance mouse for my kitchen mouse meals thing. This was me brainstorming how to draw Amanita, my tiefling spore druid from Baldur's Gate 3. Would love to do this piece with Soph on the bed. I was thinking of doing like little icon ideas for Patreon as well. And then Sophie passed. And opening this was surprisingly painful because it was like the last time I drew in this sketchbook, Sophie was alive. I can't believe I'll never hold her again. I can still feel her fur beneath my fingers. And then I just started looking at all the photos that I have of her, and I kept trying to figure out how to like capture her. And I was like, I'm forever trying to distill her essence. How do I capture her lying on her little arms, which she always did? The week before she passed, when she was in the ICU, they shaved like part of her leg so they could put an IV in. And so me and Aries called it like her little chicken wing leg. I miss her so much. And so I ended up having to just like do a divider page because it was such a definitive like before and after moment in my life. So I just had to I had to make some kind of like visual marker. And as you can tell, there's like a 2-month period. I was also doing my play that I was in this past spring, which I sometimes forget about, even though it was like a really fun process. I sometimes forget that I was doing a play. I think because this entire spring has pretty much just been blanketed by my grief for Soph. So it's hard to remember other things, but I started drawing again. This was on a Patreon stream. And then I started thumbnailing in earnest for my desk mat ideas, which I'm currently working on, and I'm really happy with how it's turning out. And this was the sketch that I ended up bringing onto my iPad and just like totally fleshing out because I liked the composition of this sketch so much. This is when I found like Bryce Coe's videos. I've followed him on Instagram for forever, but this is when I found his like YouTube videos that I mentioned a couple of my videos ago, where just watching his process and the way that he handles form is like so unreal. And the way that he thinks in like volumetrics and how he thinks in values when he's like drawing from reference, I think it's really cool. I was also thinking about layers as far as like character design and costume design goes. And so I found this artist off of Pinterest, Alice Art, where it was just like, yeah, trying to think of layers. Oh yeah, I love the way that Megumi Ishitani draws hands. And so I was like, Megumi hands. She's working on One Piece right now. She did the fan letter movie. She directed the fan letter movie for One Piece. Probably like my favorite animator right now. Everything about her work is delicious to me. Yet another threshold. Indeed. I really don't like my style for studies. Ain't that just the way? Yeah, trying to figure it out. Now we're in June. Now we're catching up here. Volumetric again. Trying to think of, that's how Bryce talks about his work. I like this little sketch. I still really like this little one. I think this was very cute. Nino Aka. They had some drawings of Legolas that I thought were really cute. Oh yeah, this was the day after my 31st birthday. I was so sick. This is a cute spread. I like this spread. I was trying to think about like doing a little turning 31 post on Instagram because I didn't do one for my 30th, which I regretted. Like I did post on Instagram for my 30th, but I didn't do like a birthday theme post like I had in years past. And so I was like, I want to try and do one for 31. I did not, nor did I post anything for Pride. And I like had this whole little pose planned for Pride. We get in our way. You hate the most valuable thing about your art. I found this fucking quote on Instagram that I think is from Tumblr. And it's basically just like, you don't like your art because it looks like it was made by you. And you think that there will come a day where it will not look like it was made by you, but you will never improve enough or reach a point where your work will not look like yours. In that, you hate the most valuable thing about your art, and that it looks like you drew it. That kind of blew my mind. And I was like, damn it, you're right. And that also has kind of helped shape the way I think about my own work and how I think about my sketchbooks and stuff. And we're right here at the end. Like I said, no kind of like grand planned spreads as I've done in the past. Pretty freaking casual, pretty damn casual sketchbook. Just your practice. I really don't love it, but I know it's vital for practice and to get comfier with styling, which is so true. And here we have our final page. We have our little Minato that I drew that I'm still so happy with, and a little version of March's sprite, and a terrible Minato, and then a little Sebastian, and that's it. Kind of a bit of a not unceremonious, what is it? Anticlimactic, innocuous end. I think this sticker on the back is from Jennifer Shao, Mango Town. I think. I could be wrong. I got this sticker so long ago, I can't remember who it's by, but I think it's by Jennifer. But yeah, that's this sketchbook. Nothing too spectacular, but I still think that it is a valuable documentation, not only of my life, but also of my artistic struggles that I've been dealing with for the last couple years. And hopefully the next one won't take me 2 whole years to finish. I would love to have my next sketchbook of this size. I would love to have my next Nina Cosford sketchbook finished within like 6 months of me starting it. You know, I haven't started it yet, but I'd love to finish it sooner rather than later. Again, we're trying to operate from a place of curiosity rather than a place of fear. And it is a journey that I'm on. So, hang on, wish me luck. And I hope you liked this little flip through. Thank you for watching. Let me get to a place where you can see my face again so I can say goodbye to you properly. Hey, welcome back. I changed the framing a little bit. What do we think about this? Instead of me being in a third, I'm more in the center with all of this beautiful negative space above my head. I love this little alcove, and I'm trying to film out here just a little bit more often. Great. Thanks for watching. Did you like it? What did you learn? Did you learn anything? Did you glean anything? What did you think? Feel free to leave a comment and let me know. I just hope that, I don't know, I hope some of it resonated with you. And I think it's also just like, I have a lot of respect for artists where every spread is just like super vibrant, filled with color, feels very complete. I'm thinking of Sophie McPike's sketchbooks. They are masterpieces unto themselves. And also I think that your sketchbook can also just be a sketchbook. It can just be like an explorative place where you just kind of get stuff down. And I think that the most important thing about a sketchbook is that it serves you in whatever capacity you need it to. I think that's the most important thing. And I think that is a lesson that I am always trying to learn, and that, like, of course, you know, I do art for a living on social media, but I think that I'm trying to sort of realign myself and just remember that the most important thing is that my creative explorations are exactly that. They are explorations. They need not be finished products. They need not be perfect. They need not be these like polished, finished things. And at the same time, I also need to harness the courage and bravery to bring to fruition the myriad of ideas that I have, because I have them. They're all just kind of sitting, collecting dust in my sketchbook. You saw how many thumbnails that I've just never made into anything, you know? So I want to be better about that in the latter half of this year and going into next year. Again, hopefully my next sketchbook will not take me 2 years to fill. We shall see. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked it. Leave me a comment if you did. Leave me a comment if you didn't. You know, I was about to be like, I am openly inviting hate comments. I'm not. Please don't be mean to me. I am a very fragile person. And the internet is cruel enough as it is. Do like the video, do subscribe if you want. I'm trying very, very hard to be more consistent about uploading again. It's a journey that I'm always on because y'all, executive dysfunction is a real bitch, but I did just start on Concerta. I'm now on 27 milligrams of Concerta, woo, instead of Adderall. And I'm liking it more than Adderall so far. So we'll see how this continues, you know, because it's helping me with the task initiation hump, which is like the biggest part of my executive dysfunction. I digress. Thank you for watching. I also need to say thank you so much to my patrons, my beautiful effervescent patrons. I love y'all so much. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. They're just the greatest. Because of my patrons, I am able to pay my rent. I'm able to feed myself. I'm able to feed Pepper. I'm able to live my life, quite frankly, because of the generosity of my patrons. And I am eternally grateful to them, and they know it. And if you want to join them, it's only $5 a month. I consolidate all my patron tiers into just one tier, so now it's just $5 a month. And you get bi-weekly podcasts, like bi-weekly video podcasts. I do weekly Monday co-working streams. I post like a little photo diaries blog every Wednesday. And I'm also working, you also get access to my entire, like, the past 8 years worth of Patreon content. So if you want that, which is like printables, downloadables, so many podcasts, so many videos, so much shit. So if you want that, it's only $5. You get that. You get all that for just $5. You also get exclusive looks at like behind the scenes stuff. So like stuff that I'm working on that I'm not sharing on Instagram or anywhere else. I don't really post on Instagram that often anymore. So basically you just get to keep up with what I'm doing on a week to week, day to day basis. So check it out if you want. No pressure. There's never any pressure ever. I am just very happy that you're here at all. I went to Small Art Mart this past weekend, and the weekend before that I went to Flock Fiber Festival, and I was so honored to be recognized by a handful of people. And I said this to them, and it's that, like, thank you for spending your time with me, because time is the most valuable finite resource that we have, and the fact that you are spending any of it with me and the stuff that I make on the internet is such a huge honor. And it is not something that I take for granted. And so I hope that you enjoy the time that you choose to spend with me, because I am grateful to have it, and I'm grateful to share it with you. And thanks for letting me be a part of your world. It means a lot. It's almost 4:20. Nice. It's almost 4:20, and I have a coffee that I just made, and I need to drink it now, or else I'm going to be up so late. So hang on. I've started drinking coffee almost more regularly than I drink tea. Can you imagine? I think it's because I don't have any Yorkshire Gold. I love Yorkshire Gold, but I only have like Yorkshire Red, I think. I have like Yorkshire Red tea. I don't like it nearly as much. Yorkshire Gold, where it's at. I'll tell you what. Yorkshire Gold's just so good. And the other kind of Yorkshire tea just doesn't really hit the same, you know? So I need to get me some more Yorkshire Gold. Anyway, so I've been drinking more coffee, which has been a little bit odd for me, but it's also been nice. And I've been brewing it myself, but then I put it in my Owala because this keeps it warm. Because, again, I have ADHD, and so it will take me like 3 hours to drink one beverage, and this keeps it warm that whole time. So I don't have to heat it up in the microwave 4 times over. It's starting to get a little bit too humid in my wishful denim jacket, so I'm going to head inside, say good evening to all the beautiful spiders out here. We have like a yellow, I think they're called orb weavers. I'm going to say goodbye to you, adieu to you. Thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Thank you to my patrons for sponsoring me, I guess. That is pretty much what a Patreon is. And thank you so much for watching. I hope I'll see you around. I'll see you on the flip side. Stay cool, stay kind, be good to each other, or else, I swear to the gods above, be good to each other, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Love you lots. Okay. Hello. Hi, ma'am. You're beautiful and also frightening. God, they're just, ugh. There's so many, and they're so pretty, and I'm so grateful for them, and also a little bit afraid of them. This one's doing a real dance. Hi, gorgeous. What are you up to? What are you working on? Thank you so much for your service to the spiders. I don't want to mess up anyone else's web. I definitely messed up someone's web as I like walked up here when I was setting up the shot. Like I said, hi, beautiful. God, it's really impressive.